about the fans, everyone knows that the majority of the fan base is grown or getting there. You know, we grew up with it. And I'm a writer, and I am kind of flirting with the idea of writing an hour-long, like, sort of drama-esque version of Power Rangers. How receptive do you think that the fans would be? And if it would be receptive well, what classic Power Ranger element do you think would have to be brought into the show to sort of just encompass the whole field of Power Rangers?
As a 1 hour, as a movie, a standalone, or talking about?
No, just like a 1 hour drama type format.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's tough.
Yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit, right? Because, I mean, you saw with the comic book, they've made it to where it's edgy,
Right.
yet it's still kid appropriate. So, I mean, it's possible. Like, it's all possible. And even when they did the really, like, dark one, like, where everybody loved it. 1 million people watched it in a day. So I think that there's room for that.
Yeah.
You know, and I encourage you, if you do that, do that. But then also flip it and go make something original. Because, you know, you're a writer, do it.
Yeah.
And they call us pirates. If you get money, make sure you call us.
I mean, you have to have that. You have to have the element of Power Rangers that made Power Rangers what it was. You got to have a little bit of camp in there. You got to have a bit of that. You know what I mean? You know, but at the same time, you know, it's okay to be a little edgier too. But you need to have a mix of both. You know, you don't. I think maybe that might have been the issue with the 2017 movie is. You know, the story was about teenagers with attitude, not teenagers with angst. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so, you know, attitude doesn't mean that you're rebels. It just it means that you're different. I mean, I don't know. Walter explains it better than
No, I
I
mean,
as far as that
I'd
goes.
say it was, they were teenagers with attitude, but they were delinquent, which is not a message we want to give other people. Like,
That was the
it's
thing.
not find a magic rock and you become a Power Ranger. It's be confident that you are who you are and confident in your ability. That's what gives you the attitude. It's like, oh, you can't tell me nothing because I know what I'm doing. I'm courageous. I'm strong.
It was what Billy was in that.
Exactly.
That's why he was the most popular character.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I think we should stop this juvenile delinquent bashing.
Nailed it.
You're so pretty. You're the best.
Other questions? We'll go right here and then in the very back next. We'll go right here and then far back.
Okay, this is a question to everybody. Is there any other Power Ranger series you guys would have loved to pop back on? Like come back and be on like Mystic Force or SPD?
All of them. They should have paid us and we would have stayed.
I feel like I would have liked to have been in Super Ninja Steel. Oh wait, I was.
I like Time Force.
She was in Super Ninja Steel.
I was in Super Ninja. Yeah, Time Force. I love the whole time travel aspect, and I loved Jen, Aaron's character.
I haven't really watched the other episodes, but I think Time Force would be my choice as well. I love the fact that Jason Fogg got to play two characters, and as an actor, that's something I would love to do.
And he got paid for two characters too. I didn't get a chance to watch all the other seasons either. But the ones that I did, it was definitely Time Force. I loved the capes in Mystic Force. So cool. I like
No capes, no capes.
It's disrespectful.
I think you guys would know. I would have loved to come back in Zio and do my share of 10 episodes because she got shrunk again. But that's my bias. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I think they turned the Rangers into kids, but then they still had the Ranger powers, so they had to deal with it, but you still got to be there.
Next level. How many wanted to see the kids in a suit? Come on!
VR Troopers got to do that. Of course, the kids didn't wear the suits because it was...
Beetleborgs.
Well, yeah, but there was one episode of VR Troopers where they were turned into children, is what I mean. Of course, the Beetleborgs, I didn't... Yeah, let's go very far in the back of the hat. He's had his hand up like a lot, very far in the back. Yeah, the other thing.
So I have three. Let's see. I have to divide them in three. So this one for one. Did you both know that you was in Forever Red?
Me?
Yeah.
You and Walter.
Yeah,
I think
We
we're
did
so.
we did voices for it.
Yeah.
I kind of figured because one of them was, I know one of them sound familiar. And another thing.
How we get my character?
Any thoughts on bringing the order to life?
What?
Oh, the order.
Yes.
Yes. Next question.
Not bad. Let's go right in front of that row in the white.
Oh, yeah, they're all kinds of fun.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear what the
From your different seasons, who is notoriously on set on time, and who is
Notoriously on time, no, none of them.
and who is notoriously late, like every time?
All of them.
We were all good at
That is not
Yeah,
true.
we were.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
We were there at 5:30 every
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
Everybody
Every
was,
Everyone was.
everyone handled their business really good.
Yeah. But of course, if you didn't, it's because what they would do is they would call you. Back then they would page you, then they would call your house, and then they would call, if they didn't get you, they would keep calling every number they had. Literally, they'd call your parents' house, they'd call your former roommates, they'd call your boyfriend, your girlfriend, everybody that's ever known you, so everybody freaking hates you if you're 5 minutes late, because they're calling them at 5:30 a.m.
They called us in to work the day they had the big earthquake in California. The freeways had fallen and collapsed on top of each other, and they still called us in to go to work.
Yep.
It was like, they're like, can you come in? It was like 10 o'clock. Are you coming in to work? We're like, we have an earthquake. You can't get around. It's crazy. The buildings are not stable.
The city's in tatters.
They made us go down there. It took me like 2 hours to get there.
Yeah.
And we stood out in the parking lot because they didn't give me permission to go and let us go in the building. And eventually they said, oh.
Yeah, they said.
Dude, I think I remember Paulie and I went up there too, much later in the day, because it must have taken us 3 or 4 hours to get through that.
Was at that time, was it still in Culver City, or was it?
It was in Culver City.
It was the month it moved to Valencia.
No, it was in Culver City.
No,
Yeah?
no, the Northridge earthquake.
Let's see this.
I'm just here for the
Are you sure?
Yeah, because we had to go over the 10, which is where the freeway is broken.
No, the freeway broke.
Oh, no, you're right.
Yep.
The 14th.
Remember the freeway drop?
Yes,
There was a big gap in the freeway.
Yeah, and they
There was a
dedicated it to
police
the
officer
top.
that drove off the bridge.
Yep. Yeah, they dedicated that exchange
That's
to
right.
him when they
You're right.
rebuilt it. I'm like, I'm sure he did not want his name on the thing that killed him.
I'm sure I'm just
That was
getting
the whole
older.
section of 118 just dropped.
Yeah, just wham.
I got robbed at gunpoint. I got robbed again, twice now. No, but I got robbed at gunpoint, and I called the set to let them know, and they're like, "Oh, we're really sorry. So you're coming in? We have a
Well, but Kat, you were new at that point. Everyone on the set had gotten robbed at gunpoint. Like Paul Schreiber at some point.
Old ass, sweetheart, okay?
Come on, Kat. I got into a car accident.
Yes.
And did not have a car. They were like, okay, so we're gonna have somebody come pick you up to make sure you're there on time tomorrow.
Yes.
I woke up, I had fallen asleep driving on the freeway, which if you guys are ever tired, please roll down your window, call somebody. You know, I thought I was a superhero, which I was, but not really. And I had hit my head on the steering wheel, and when I woke up, my nose was bleeding, and I had pushed a car down the freeway. They were okay. We didn't have cell phones at the time, so I don't know how anybody, by the time I woke up, the police were already there, the ambulance were already there. The person didn't die, as far as I know, thank God. But yeah, there was like, okay, but you going to work tomorrow, right? Yeah, I'll be there. Guess so.
Makeup on the bruise. Yeah, a little makeup.
Oh, man. Let's go to the Ninja Turtle hat right there. Yeah.
Turtle guy and Ninja Turtle dad.
Happy Father's Day!
To all the fathers.
All of you.
I wanted to say, my name is Marlon. Thank you to everybody up there. Like, you know, I grew up with you. These are my daughters.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, hey, you know, what do they watch? You know, Barney and I? No, we're watching Power Rangers.
As you should.
I had two things. First thing I wanted to say was, in accordance to the way the Rangerstop and how that's going to be. Have you guys ever reached out to the Beetleborgs?
Or the big actors?
People have brought that up to us. It just has
Yeah.
never worked out. I mean, you know, we could definitely bring it up to the new owners.
I feel like it would be good, like, we know, obviously, VR Troopers are starting to do their little reunion
Yeah.
together now, so we need to
Oh,
bring those
we
guys
talked about
in.
that
We'll bring the
at one
VR
point.
Troopers guys in, we'll make the Masked Rider guy in, you know?
Yeah.
Just get a little bit of that element as well, too, you know what I mean? Like,
It's
Perhaps
like
yeah, it'd be cool, they also get a couple of people from Japan to come as well, too, that kind of thing as well.
it's always
So
been
there's
a,
subtitles.
it's always been a thought. It's
Yeah.
just like, you know, with us, it's always a budget.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But it's always been a thought.
It's always gonna come down to that kind of stuff, but, you know, I feel like we're gonna take a page out of Karan and Nakia's book in that regard of like trying to listen to the fans about all that stuff that, you know, that you guys want to see. You know?
Apparently. So Steve must be part owner. That's why he must be part of the new.
No, but
That's why he wore the suit
he's
just
a
now.
big reason why the deal happened.
Yeah.
And so, you know, him and Brett are really good friends. So, I mean, literally, you know, it's always been a conversation, and we just want you guys to have a show that you would love. So it's just a matter.
We do.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
It's always just a matter of figuring it out budget-wise.
Okay.
Well, it's called Ranger. It was called Rangers. It is called Rangerstop and Pop for a reason.
That's the
So
pop.
it was Rangers and the Pop side as well. So that's what we were trying to bring every year. This year, because it was our final year as owners, and we didn't lie to you guys. It was our final year.
was.
If we did not find somebody to sell to, then it would have been our final year.
Yeah.
But we wanted to. We listened to you guys and really wanted it to continue on for all of you. I mean, this has meant so much to so many people, and what a blessing that, you know, Steve had spoken to Brett, and then we also, as I had mentioned the other day, we had another offer, but we chose to go with Brett because I just think that he could bring the vision, he can continue the legacy that we've started and even make it even better, so.
He understood the feeling.
He understood, yeah.
We've got time for a couple of more questions. We got right over there. Yes? Yeah, these are right.
Yeah.
Walter, thanks. That's a wrap for Walter Jones. There you go. Always good to see you, sir.
I have a question. Did you know that you guys rock?
What do you take from me?
Right behind you and then you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, both of you. So first.
So recently I had the opportunity to, just earlier today, I bought this. I'm very excited to read the stories that you Nakia, and Steve have written.
And Walter.
And Walter's in there too.
Yeah.
Oh, he's done.
That's awesome.
Are there any other projects that any of the rest of you are working on right now that you feel like strongly about?
So I have an audio. I just got done doing an audio book. Paulie and I did cameos on this audio book. They got in a full cast of characters for it, and they asked Paulie and I to do one that's kind of about the fan scene. And so Paulie and I just completed that. And then Johnny and I are finishing completion on Spades, which full-length motion picture, which we did about a year ago, 2 years ago, and we're this close to it being out of post finally. So keep your eyes peeled. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. The movie that I wrote, produced, and started and funded, whatever, came out in March. It's called Back to Bridgewood. It's a comedy, inspirational comedy, and there are 2 Power Rangers in it. Jason Font plays my doctor, and Serena Vincent plays a TV host. But it's family friendly. You can watch it. It's streaming on Apple, Amazon, in demand, basically everything but Tubi and Netflix. And then, in addition to the comic book series that, the comic book story that I got a chance to write, I'm writing a new series called The Never Never Kids. It's another action-adventure superhero story that has nothing to do with Power Rangers, but it has everything to do with fun. So if you come by my table, I'll give you one of the flyers, and then you can check out the website and have a couple of other things that we're working on. So thank you guys just for your support. 'Cause a lot of you guys have come Yellow Ranger, but on the back of the portrait, he wrote this line that I wrote inside of the movie that said, always look up to where your strength comes from. And he wrote it in the back, and I was like, oh my God. Like literally, like every time I watch it, I cry. I don't know why, but there's something about that little quote that I wrote that just, I don't know. And he had no idea, and he wrote it on the back of that, and I cried. So, yeah.
That's cool. All right, we got time for, I think, a couple of more questions, because it's almost 2:45, we want to get everybody back out there. I want to ask everybody, though, who wants to answer this question. Your time on the show was obviously, in some cases, brief, but you're there a while ago. What today, after being at this show over 30 years after the show started, here in front of the audience, doing this all the time, what would you tell yourself the day before you stepped onto the set for the first time? You've already got the role, but what do you tell yourself the day before you become Skull for the first time?
Don't do it.
Oh man.
Lower your expectations.
That's a sad one.
I don't know. I don't know that I would. Oh, you don't really need it. I know. I'm so loud.
That's what I meant, Karen.
I'm loud. I know I'm loud. I don't know that I would tell myself anything because I felt like Power Rangers is one of those gigs that it was the good, the bad, the ugly. And when you have that type of situation, you learn so much about yourself. You learn so much about the industry. We learned so much about, just everything. Like we were literally thrown in the deep end of the pool and we had to learn how to swim instantly. So it's one of those things where if you have that kind of experience, you don't want to change it because you became who you are today because of that. Like literally my work ethic is based so much on, we worked so hard. And it was like you said, you could have a car wreck and they'd be like, so what time are you going to be here? There was no sympathy, no breaks. It was just work, 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 work. But at the end of the day, we inherited all of you. We literally traveled the world and we've seen things and done things. I've done more travel with these guys than I've done with my own family. We've literally been in the coolest places. We got the coolest stories. So I don't know that I'd want to change or tell myself anything because if I changed it, it would probably
be different.
Yeah, it would be different. And I needed all of those lessons. You think about it, we were young. I was 18, graduated high school. I'd only been out of high school 2 months. So I needed as many lessons as I could get. We got it.
Yep.
Right?
Well done.
Outside of Power Rangers, there would have been a few things I would tell myself. But yeah, I would have changed a thing that happened with Rangers. Yeah.
I think just because of a business sense, I would have probably, business-wise, thinking back, what I know now, when I was on the show, I would have probably did things a little bit differently with my agents and trying to look for endorsement deals while I'm still on the show. Things that would have maybe I wouldn't have become a substitute teacher, but then I needed the substitute teacher because then I wrote back to Brentwood. It all comes full circle. So what she said was right.
I would just say not to be complacent because I think when you're in it, we're filming so much and you're in it and you're in this kind of bubble, and I feel like sometimes I took it for granted a little bit. So that's one thing I would say.
It was
feel like it's always going to be there.
It's always going to be there, and then it ended, and I was like, I didn't have, I wasn't a citizen or anything. I was completely dependent on Saban for everything. So I didn't know what I was going to do, how I'm going to support myself. Do I have to go back to Australia? All of that. Just that I felt just didn't think it was going to end. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everything comes to an end. But.
And it happened so fast. It was we were here, we were there. It was so fast. It was I wish someone would have told me stop and smell the roses. Really take it in.
Soak it in.
And and I don't know that I did that because we were just so tired and working so hard.
I soaked it in.
You did. Steve lived
taking every minute of this scenario.
You know what? I admire that about you because that's something you can't teach people.
I would say, because my perspective is a little bit different. They were getting out of high school and I was peaking in middle school. So at 12, and it's only that I can reflect on it now, that I would say, get ready. Because if I don't change anything with my life, I still wasn't expecting you guys really to dig me up after 30 years and be like, there's been some level of impact, you know, or quote my lines that even I can't remember and say how impactful this little fake African scene did something for your life, you know, and it was so meaningful how they thought to bridge a crossover at that time and use that moment, you know, which is so pivotal and even more pivotal to us now based on what's going on in society and the world racially and culturally. But back then, 30 years ago, so just get ready for wherever life takes you, you know, so I would have been more in that moment. But I'm a kid, you know? But hindsight, even we can still do that now. Just get ready to ride the waves of wherever life is trying to take us and be ready to soak up that stuff. Because the legacy for specifically Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is deep. Even I'm up here, but I see what these people have done for me. This legacy, they're nothing, we're nothing without you. And the following for 3 decades, 4 decades is surreal and phenomenal. God bless you guys. Don't stop, whatever you want to do.
That's beautiful. I think that's a pretty good way to end for everybody here today, my friends. Please give it up for the amazing cast of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Zeo. Now, friends, thank you so much for everything today. I want everybody to know that Mark Richardson and Nakia are going to be back in here for a 3 o'clock panel too to talk a little bit more about some really cool stuff on the show. So it's not over yet. Stay put if you want to. But please, one last time, show some love for our friends. And as for myself, I'm heading to the airport in about 10 minutes to go back to Orlando, Florida, and I am so